What's up, melanated family? Happy to be back for another video. This is your brother Harrison. Welcome to the Melanated Convo, right? So, something I want to talk about really quickly. A few days ago, I actually just seen this story a few days ago, and I thought it was important that we have this conversation because for anyone out there who is a content creator, anyone out there who's a YouTuber, anyone who just speaks to large numbers of people, right? There's there always should be a level of accountability and responsibility when you're in these spaces. Even if you can, sometimes you may get beside yourself to a certain degree, but you always have to be humble. You always have to know how to reel yourself back, right? So, a few days ago, I read a story about rapper Cardi B. She sued and she actually won the defamation lawsuit against a popular YouTuber named Tasha K. Right now, if any of you aren't aware of Tasha K, I've seen little clips of what she does in the past. I've seen interviews with people like Kwame Brown and a couple of other individuals that I thought was pretty intriguing. But typically, on her YouTube page, she kind of talks about celebrities and things going on in the news, right? And that can always be a difficult thing because you don't want to border on being salacious. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, Cardi B won the lawsuit. She won a $4 million lawsuit, family, because Tasha K went on her platform, and this is based on court documents. Tasha K went on her platform, said she was a prostitute, went on her platform saying she does drugs, she's a prostitute. Her daughter is gonna come out like when she has her daughter may have deformities or things like that. She also mentioned that she had herpes, which was a big part of the actual case, right? So here's the thing. After, the court filings and how everything played out, Cardi B actually won the lawsuit. So what's actually going on here? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with creating a YouTube channel and wanting to feed your family um, by being a content creator and someone that speaks to people, right? But what I see from Tasha K is something that I think runs rampant on YouTube in general. A lot of a lot of false narratives. There's always like a lot of clickbait going on, and I think that a lot of people that I see on YouTube border if they're not already being disrespectful and neglectful to a degree, they always border on the line of being in that realm. And I think a part of that, family, is the freedom that you have to just jump on your computer or your phone or your camera to make a video. That's a beautiful thing. But there's also some negatives to that as well because there's no checks and balances. You don't work for a big company. You don't have a big corporation behind you. You don't have anyone to answer to. So you can pretty much say what the fuck you want to say. And y'all see what I do. I have no problem with someone speaking their mind. I have no problem with someone um, seeing something that happens in the news and wanting to shed light on a different perspective, right? Now, again, what Tasha K does, I don't have no disrespect for that sister. That's a black woman who figured out a way um to be successful in this country. Her platform, I think it's Unwind with Tasha K or something along those lines. She has a lot of subscribers. It seems as if she's doing well. You know what I mean? But I always ask myself, and again, this isn't a shot at that sister, but just the larger question for anyone looking to do this or anyone that's been affected by these type of things, right? Because at the end of the day, Cardi B produced court documents. She produced documents that showed she didn't have herpes, right? So here's the thing. If there's one thing to go on your platform and express your opinion, give a perspective someone wasn't thinking about, but it's a slippery slope. Like you have to be careful. You know what I mean? Because in this situation, again, all according to court documents, Tasha K did over 38 videos about Cardi B, right? And I'm thinking in my mind, who in the fuck would want to do 38 videos about any individual? The only thing I can think of, family, just on some real shit, and this is again for any YouTuber, anybody trying to gain a name or fame or money off of their content. I think this case was important The only thing I can think about, the only reason I can think that a person would make that many videos about somebody else is on some clout shit. Like, this is popular, right? This is popular. So you want to continue to make content about it to get the views that's going to lead to money or popularity or whatever it may be. But at some point, you got to think, at what cost? You know what I mean? Because this was close to home for me, because in the process of me creating my platform, I had to make sure there are certain places I draw a line, right? Because I have came on the Melanated Convo, the podcast, or just the regular videos. I've came on my platform and spoke negatively about coons, right? Like, that's my soft spot right there. Like, I don't fuck with coons, black men or women who intentionally throw us under the bus to gain something, whether it be money or popularity or a stake in a company or whatever the case may be. You like working in corporate America. I'm hell on coons, right? And I'm always gonna be. But I've even told myself, okay, let me make sure I pick my spots. Let me make sure I'm not just jumping out there when someone says something. Like, someone doesn't have a history of doing nothing, but they just say something reckless one time. Like, sometimes you got to back up and just observe what the fuck you looking at, and everything don't deserve your attention. You know what I mean? So Cardi B winning this lawsuit is big, because it's so many YouTubers, family, that have a salacious kind of lane that they in. And again, I don't hate on it. I know people need entertainment. I know people need like a getaway from normal reality. That's what I call it. You know what I mean? So I don't hate on the sister in that regard, but you got to be careful what the fuck you talking about out here. Because Cardi B, even though Tasha K says Cardi B was lying about the anguish she had to go through, she didn't want to have sex with her husband. She was feeling weird about being a mother to her daughter. Like, even if she's lying, because really, I seen a video where Tasha K kind of spoke negatively about some of these things, but really, if you're in a lawsuit, shit, that's what you do. You kind of aggrandize certain things so you can win the lawsuit. That's kind of just how it works. But let's just say, for instance, you speaking negatively about somebody and it is causing them distress, right? It is changing some of the aspects of their life, even if it's just mentally. Like, you don't know how you're affecting someone that you're speaking about, especially if you're hella popular. You know what I mean? So Cardi B's mentioning all these things that are wrong with her because of it. We don't know if that's not the case. And then you have to think, let's just say, God forbid, you do have a platform where you're speaking about somebody over and over again for views, for clout, recognition, whatever the reason is you're doing that shit, right? What if they do end up hurting themselves? What if Cardi B, God forbid, what if she would have actually hurt herself, or something would have happened to her? You know what I mean? Because another thing I don't like about this situation, and again, I'm not coming at the sister Tasha K specifically, I'm just adding a perspective on that situation, which is documented by the courts, right? Cardi B wins the lawsuit. Tasha K does a video about how she needs to have freedom of speech, how her opinion should be protected, how the powers that be is working against her to allow prostitution and drugs into our community. Like, somebody please tell me, did Tasha K actually say something in those videos about Cardi B that was facts? Because I looked for it, I couldn't find it. Did she say something that was actually facts? Because based on the court findings, the herpes shit was a lie. So how do you justify that? And like, I personally think, if you're in a position where you're speaking to people on a microphone, like if you are in a position where you talk a lot, one day, I'm aware of this. Like, I'm being completely transparent. One day, you may stick your foot in your fucking mouth. That may happen. But the bigger thing is, what do you do afterwards? Like, if you say something and it comes out like a fact that you stood on something that was incorrect, what do you do afterwards? I think the big person goes back on that same platform and says, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I'll do better research. Something. Like, you have to atone for doing some shit like that. It feels weird to me that she's doubling down on being incorrect, unless someone can point me to something that would make her claim a little more viable. You see what I'm saying? You lied. It's proven that you lied. You said you should be able to have your opinion. That's a tricky thing. Like it's a slippery slope between giving your opinion and giving like a factual opinion. That's what I be telling motherfuckers. Like a lot of people, just not people who speak for a living, but just people in general, you have to be careful. I'm hella opinionated, so sometimes my opinion will seem like a factual opinion, like it's fact, and you got to be careful. Nothing wrong with being confident and knowing what you're talking about and being adamant about a particular situation, but you have to be careful how you address things, right? So, young YouTubers, young potential content creators, like build your shit off of integrity. Build your shit off of integrity. I know in the world we live in, salacious information and gossip is popular. It's an escape for people. Some people just like that form of entertainment. I don't even knock that shit. I don't have to fuck with it. You see what I'm saying? I don't knock it, but it ain't for me. See, I understand some people thrive off of this type of information and it's popular and it can make you popular, right? But you have to be careful because I think sometimes because there's a lot of people on YouTube and on the internet that I've learned from, that I follow. But one thing I see that happens, even to some of the individuals that I still fuck with, sometimes because there isn't any checks and balances, you're on this platform where there's no boss, there's just you, you're going directly to people. There's no one to reprimand you or even speak to you about what you're saying. You're the one doing all the damn talking. So you can pretty much say whatever you want to say. And I see a lot of people fall into a trap where they're creating an audience and they may see an audience likes a particular thing. So they lean into whatever that is. Or, like I just said, they end up giving their opinion. But once you listen, it sounds more like fact than an opinion because I'm one who, if I research something or I'm sure about something, I'm going to state it like I'm sure about it, but I'm always prepared because I do my due diligence. I'm I'm careful about what I say in particular, but my heart leads me to certain places. You know what I mean? But one thing I had to learn is because if you are doing YouTube videos or creating content, if you put a celebrity's name in the YouTube thumbnail or the description, if you put certain things in the description, you may get more views, right? I've had to I've had to struggle with that because it's not my personality to um talk down on people in a particular way. But when I first started this, I found myself leaning towards trying to do certain things that I see are more popular. But as time went on, I said, man, I can't do that shit. I have to be me. And my whole purpose of speaking to you guys, right? Because again, what Tasha K does is more based on entertainment, it's more based on gossip. It's to me, it's a way for people to release. It ain't really no substance, not to shit on her, but it ain't really that much substance to it for the most part. Because again, like I said, I seen a Kwame Brown interview where Kwame, he had a lot of good stuff to say, even though to me, she's pulling him in based on he's in the news lately. Some other people I seen her interview, like some loving, loving, hip hop, loving. What's the name of that goddamn show? Love and Hip Hop. Well, ain't no goddamn hip hop involved, but whatever. Some of the former members of those shows or current members of those shows. So she's interviewing people that are in the news, and a lot of it is based around kind of this gossipy, messy environment. And anytime you involve yourself in that kind of shit, it may come back on you one day. You see what I'm saying? I think Wendy Williams has a similar approach to speaking on people because I was going to play a snippet from Tasha K's show, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to play that shit on my show. But after watching her, I'm thinking to myself, okay, this sister seems as if she's playing a role. Like the sister girl act and you're drinking and you're kind of talking louder. I'm thinking to myself, does she really act this way in real life? Because if not, like I think we should all veer away from that. Like be who you are. You know what I'm saying? If you are playing a role, excuse me, family. If you are playing a role, like a character in to a degree, I say that. If you want some Humpty Humpty shit, where you playing a character or a role of, you know what I mean, that's not really you, say that shit. Don't be salacious and then pass it off like it's actually fact, or pass it off like what you did was the right thing. You see what I'm saying? Because all of us have to atone for that. And being on the internet and being or having access to all this information, I think one thing that can benefit all of us, right, is to try our best to be as to be as like use our morals as much as possible. Like use a level of integrity when doing this shit because you could if you because she made it seem like she had a problem with stripper and prostitution culture and um women drugging men and right so these some of these things are serious topics that I don't deny may need to be speaked about, right? Because I look at Cardi B and these type of female rappers, it's twofold for me. If I had a daughter, would I let her listen to music about a stripper or I'm sorry, music about a woman doing particular things to a man in a vulgar manner? I wouldn't, just to be honest. But I'm a man who listens to hip hop who is hip hop is dominated by masculine energy and a lot of the men in this genre speak about women in a particular way. They have since the 90s. That's when it actually started. So if I see a woman if women rappers start to become popular that speak about sexual endeavors, speak about dick and pussy and sexual things and what they do to a man. And we can't be too mad at the Cardi B's and the Meg Thee Stallions when we have men speaking just as derogatory about women. So we can't have it both ways because I'm raised on hip hop where I'm singing a lot of these songs. Bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. That's sounds good, right? And I know being contextual, he's probably speaking about a certain kind of woman, but the words are the words. You can break it down later, but the words are the words. You see what I'm saying? So I don't come down too much on that type of hip hop. Again, it's not for me. If I had a young daughter, I probably wouldn't let her listen to it until she was a certain age. And then I would make sure I give particular information about the lifestyle they're talking about and the effects of these things. Same as if you have a young boy that wants to listen to hip hop that glamorizes murder and um, sexual content and all of these different things. So we have to be fair about that. But at the end of the day, it's important that we're contextual with our words, family, and try our best to be. Everybody wants to be popular. Like everybody wants to gain a certain amount of notoriety so people can fuck with what you do and you can make money from what you do. But to what end? Like, what are you willing to do to actually get there? That's what you have to ask yourself. Because at the end of the day, I think we should all be attempting to leave the world a better place. I know it may sound corny, but that's some real shit. I want to leave this place better than I found it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And that should be the goal for everybody. So when I look at, again, I don't knock a Tasha K or a Wendy Williams or a Jason Lee or anybody who uses the rumor mill to kind of galvanize their audience. I don't knock that. But I'm always wondering, give me the end goal. How is this going to help anybody? Just to be honest. How is it going to help anybody? Because I understand you may be making money from it. You may have had to work hard and go through a lot to get to where you are. So I respect that part about anybody who works hard, anybody who puts in the work to get to a particular position in life. There's a level of respect I have for that. But it's if you're doing anything, and I'm not saying this is Tasha K's case, but just in general, any young YouTubers listening, any person who's looking to start a YouTube channel or create content that will involve your voice and it's presented to people, you have to be careful because you have to be careful because you have no idea who's listening, right? You have no idea who's listening. And words hold power. Regardless of who you are, words hold power. So you got to be careful because you don't want to just be doing it for money. Anything you're doing just for money, some negativity may come your way. Because to me, that's not a person with a lot of integrity, just to keep it real. If you're doing something just for money and you're willing to do whatever for it, then you're going to find yourself in a bad spot. You're going to find yourself getting sued for $4 million because I'm trying to like contextualize the reason for this situation. You see what I'm saying? Because let's say you go on your show, because, and again, from my understanding, like there's a rule where shit, a lot of times, all you have to say is allegedly. I'm not sure if she said it on her show when speaking about Cardi B, but I'm aware of this. Like, allegedly is something that you say to put out the disclaimer that I don't know if this shit is true or not. You see what I'm saying? And from what I've seen and witnessed, that gets a lot of people out of shit strictly by saying allegedly. You know what I mean? So again, I couldn't find the show where she spoke about Cardi B. So I don't know if she did say allegedly or not. I don't know if the sister's doing it just for money or not. But the point is, be careful about how you approach it. Be careful about your actual motivation to do something. Because I think personally, there's actually a way to do anything. So if you want to cover celebrities and what's going on in the news because it's popular and people like it, and you want to play a role where you like kind of drunk and you kind of talking loud and all that, do it, but draw a line somewhere. Make sure you're actually telling yourself there's a level I actually won't go to. Like there's some shit I'm not gonna cover. There's certain shit I'm not gonna say because again, it's 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 a slippery slope. I mean, we're a lot of times we're talking about real fucking people. These are real people. These are real people. Your words can get back to real people. What about the kids of these people? Now, again, I don't want to seem like a hypocrite because if you a coon, I don't give a fuck. I have a line myself. If you a coon, if you're a person who knowingly does things that negatively affects our community and you're benefiting and you're benefiting from it and you're getting paid or getting benefits from the powers that be, I don't fuck with you. And I'm a advocate of history and I understand how our slave revolts and the different things we've tried to do in history to free ourselves have always been thwarted by a black person who wanted a seat at the table or wanted a better standing for themselves. You see what I'm saying? So they would snitch and they would participate in these meritorious manumission laws that propped up certain black people who shitted on other black people. Like I'm race first and I'm an advocate for our empowerment. I like to have fun. I like to watch videos that don't make me think and I can just laugh or be entertained or any of that. I'm not against any of these things. Like I'm not judging this sister for creating the type of platform she has, but you have to be careful. What if Cardi B's daughter or other kids down the line? Because sometimes if this shit don't get pulled off the internet, it's in the ether forever because sometimes even if it's pulled off that person's page, somebody saved it, somebody put it on Instagram, somebody, you know what I mean? So in certain instances, this shit will be out there in like internet world forever. So what about if this girl's kids see it? How would they view that? How would they think? What if people see that about her after she's not here no more? And they're judging her based on your words because you are popular. Like, regardless of how Tasha K got there, you got to give her props. She got damn near 1 million subscribers. She's a popular YouTuber. But with that level of popularity comes a level of responsibility too. So that's all I wanted to convey to the family because I'm that touched home to me being someone who has wanted to present my thoughts to the family and tell you guys how I feel about things, interview people and make this popular. Like I'm extremely passionate about what I do, but I draw a line in the sand and I've had to establish this line, not because somebody checked me or someone I spoke about came back at me about something. It's just my level of morality and watching other YouTube videos and kind of falling back on myself like, wait a minute, am I doing that? Am I falling victim to that same type of approach just to be popular? So I was like, nah, I'm gonna take the stairs. Instead of taking the elevator shit, I'm gonna take the stairs and create this from the ground up and be empowering and be involved in what's going on in my community and speak about things. And if something is in the news, I think if you're a YouTuber or a journalist or whatever the case may be, if something is common knowledge and it's in the news, you should be able to speak about it. You shouldn't be censored. You should be able to speak about it. But again, how you do it is all up to you. And this may set a precedence of other individuals basically saying that they got time. That's what Cardi B was basically referencing, because she could have said, fuck it. Keep that in mind. She could have heard all these things about her and just said, fuck it, I'm busy. I got a lot of things going on. I ain't gonna trip. She took the time to get that lawsuit straight. This could set a precedence. Other YouTubers, content creators, be aware, man. This can happen to you. You know what I mean? This is a real thing. This could actually happen to you. And in my mind, I'm always thinking, what is it really about? What is it really about? You can speak about people without being salacious. You can talk about a situation involving a celebrity, about their business, basically, without being salacious, without making it seem like you know everything, just adding perspective. That's what the world is about. Freedom of speech is necessary, and I support that. Like Tasha K was mentioning freedom of speech and opinion, but personally, I think there should be freedom of speech, but shit, watch what you say. You know what I mean? You can't really lie on nobody. You feel me? So this is your boy Harrison. Everybody who's listening on the digital platforms, do me a favor and subscribe. Um, um, like the video or like the audio if you can. Follow the page if you can. Leave a review if you can. I appreciate all the new subscribers, all the new listeners. This is your boy Harrison. This is the Melanated Convo, where we come to you weekly and talk about things going on in our community, have the conversation about things going on in our community. It's my opinion that sometimes we don't get to where we need to get in relationships, or we don't get to where we need to get with particular situations because we don't flush it out and have a much needed conversation about it, regardless of what it's about. We should be able to talk about it in a particular way that's respectful, that's enlightful, and still maybe a little bit entertaining. You feel me? If you're watching this on YouTube or one of the other video platforms, please subscribe to the Melanated Convo on the Melanated Convo YouTube channel for more videos like this. This is your boy Harrison. I'm out.